Swat Kats, The Radical Squadron, 1993 to 1995, explored. Today, on our nostalgic throwback, we will look back at a legendary cartoon series that was way ahead of its time and entertained the early 90s. It was just perfect for the Sunday morning block. The Futuristic story tells us of the action adventures of two vigilante pilot cats that stopped mayhem at Megacat City while competing with the law enforcers. The show was created by brothers Christian and Yvonne Tremblay and was produced by Hanna-Barbera. With a total of 25 episodes stretched out in only 2 seasons, the series had a pretty short run, but a large impact. So why is the series still talked about and has fans asking for a solid reboot? Let's find out. While you are at it, we have a humble request that you like and subscribe to our channel if the content is to your liking. The small click from you means a lot for us.
Eat Afterburner!
Season 1. The Past Master always rings twice. It's nighttime in Megacat City, and 2 grave robbers dig in to find rare treasures they can sell to the museum. They discover a casket, only to find a gnomish cat wizard who has been asleep for the last 800 years. The wicked wizard carries a pocket watch and uses it to resurrect skeletons that scare away the grave robbers. In this world of humanoid cats, even skeletons have pointy bones for ears. As the skeletons start digging for the wizard, they are spotted by a patrol helicopter, which destroys the skeletons and takes the casket to the museum. The wizard is the past master, who secretly hitches a ride on the helicopter and goes to the museum to find an ancient spellbook that can give him powers. Deputy Mayor Callie Briggs discusses the museum opening with Dr. Abyssinian. They examine the casket, and Abby explains that the markings on the casket imply it's from the Dark Ages. Pastmaster goes through the museum exhibits and gets spotted by a guard. He brings a saber-tooth exhibit to life, and it attacks the guard, causing a dinosaur skeleton to collapse. Dr. Sinian and Callie go to check out for the noise, and they get chased by the saber-tooth. The Pastmaster comes across Callie's bag and rummages through it. He accidentally switches on Callie's transmitter, which sends an emergency call to the Swat Kats. The cats in question, Razor and T-Bone, were practicing their endurance to G-force while taking a centrifuge ride. The Swat Kats respond to the alarm and take their jet, Turbocat, to the Museum of History. T-Bone rescues Callie and Abby from falling off the building, while Razor freezes Sabretooth with his cement machine gun. The title, Radical Squadron, refers to the 3 main characters, T-Bone, Razor, and Callie. Now, although Callie is not a SWAT cat, she is one of the greatest allies and sources the SWAT Kats have. There's a lot more to it, but we will get there later. Pastmaster finally finds his coveted book and escapes the museum with it. An enforcer tries to stop Pastmaster, but he uses the Tome of Time spellbook to open a portal and bring a gigantic dinosaur to the city. As the dinosaur trashes all the cars and wrecks the city, the SWAT Kats try to fight it back, but instead, the Turbocat gets flicked into the vortex and they land in the prehistoric era. A puncture in the jet forces the SWAT Kats to make a rough landing, and they are immediately attacked by other dinosaurs. Back in the present, the Megasaurus Rex carries Pastmaster to find the tallest clock tower from where he needs to cast his spell to change Megacat City into the Dark Ages. Commander Ulysses Ferrell arrives and is rather displeased with the Enforcer Sergeants. He also mocks and blames the SWAT Kats for being absent. Commander Ferrell manages to lure and trap the large dinosaur into a tar pit, but Pastmaster brings back other pterodactyls to terrorize. Dr. Sinian informs Ferrell that he needs to retrieve the spellbook, but that's easier said than done. The ladies also inform Mayor Manx about the crisis, but he sends Callie to negotiate with the evil sorcerer. In the meantime, the SWAT Kats eject out of Turbocat to save themselves from being dinosaur food and even lure a few pterodactyls into a volcano. Razor repairs the jet and refuels it using volcano gas, and they exit the era through the vortex. Back at the clock tower, Callie fails to make a deal with Pastmaster as he waits for the clock to strike noon and the Dark Ages to begin. Mayor Manx orders Ferrell to blow up the clock tower, but the fight with pterodactyls destroys Manx's office and parts of the city. Once again, the SWAT Kats arrive in time to stop time, and the Turbocat jet helps Pastmaster and his dinosaurs go back to the prehistoric era, but the spellbook gets destroyed. The giant bacteria. The second episode has the Enforcer helicopters and the Swat Kats, following a villainous cat called Morbulus, who has blown up several oil refineries. One thing that works for Morbulus is that he has 2 extra eyes at the back of his head. The SWAT Cat manages to stop Morbulus from attacking another refinery and also succeeds in throwing Morbulus off his jet by using a cookie-cutter missile. When Callie and Feral retrieve Morbulus from the ocean, they find his suit empty, with the culprit absconded. Morbulus comes up to a hidden cave, happy to have evaded the police, but he is found by someone far more dangerous. A half-cat, half-snake biochemist, the evil Dr. Viper. On the other hand, the SWAT Kats return to their base with much satisfaction as they turn into their car mechanic clothes and identities, Chance and Jake. They catch an interview of Feral on TV, blaming the SWAT Kats for interfering with the chase and Morbulus escaping. Callie also shows up at the salvage yard, seeking some service on her car engine as she flirts with Jake and Chance. Meanwhile, Dr. Viper takes Morbulus to his secret lair and tells him that Morbulus will help him get a chemical called Catalyst 99 from the Megacat biochemical labs. Dr. Viper drops a liquid on Morbulus, turning him into a 4-headed slimy monster, or a giant bacteria. This is the first episode made for the series, but it was released later. This is perhaps why the implied love triangle between Chance, Callie and Jake never appears later. The next day, Chance and Jake's rather annoying co-workers Burke and Murray dump scraps for Chance and Jake, but the resourceful duo gets equipment to repair Callie's car. The giant bacteria starts devouring cattle and even a farmer before moving closer to the city, while Dr. Viper follows it closely. It soon draws attention as it attacks the mayor's car, which is driven by Callie. Chance and Jake watch the news and gear up to apprehend the situation. However, Callie drives into the monster and bifurcates it into 2 creatures. Feral further gives the mayor and Callie a ride in his helicopter, but as Feral randomly attacks the monster, it again divides into another giant bacteria. When one of the giant bacteria heads to the subway and devours a train, Razor follows it on his cyclotron and destroys the monster by electrocuting it. Back on the surface, Dr. Enzyme of Megacat Labs develops a high dose of antibiotics that can be used to kill the monster. The SWAT Kats electrocute one of the monsters, making it melt and combust, while the antibiotic plan doesn't work as the monster quickly recovers and punches through the apparently impenetrable Megacat Labs. We have a problem with the monster being called a giant bacteria. For one, it was Morbulus, and second, there's little evidence of bacteria looking like a purple monster. Dr. Viper arrives at the lab to take advantage of the situation and steals Catalyst 99, while Dr. Zyme is seemingly killed by the monster. The SWAT Kats devise a plan to finish the final giant bacteria as they lure it to a metal bridge, and then they use the Turbocat to cut the electrical wires, which electrocutes and ends the last monster. The SWAT Kats returns to the lab to catch Viper, who has taken Callie prisoner. However, Viper shakes the highly volatile Catalyst 99 containers, causing them to explode. As SWAT Kats escapes with Callie, the lab blows up along with Viper. Feral tries to blame the SWAT Kats for cutting the city's power, but at least Mayor Manx is thankful for the rescue, while Burke and Murray cleaning the melted bacteria serves them right.
My bomb is on!
The Wrath of Dark Cat. The SWAT Kat's arch nemesis, Dark Cat, is back in town and has attacked the Megacat nuclear plant with his fear ship. Dark Cat's holographic projection sets a warning for the guards and enforcers as he uses lasers to disintegrate the tanks and vehicles. With the guards standing down, Dark Cat's pink gargoyle minions, called the Creeplings, enter the facility to collect the nuclear fuel rods. Callie Briggs arrives at the scene and discusses the best course of action with Commander Feral, who tries everything to destroy the fear ship. However, its impenetrable force field proves every attack futile. Chance and Jake are embroiled in a pepper-eating contest when Callie calls the SWAT Kats for help. As the SWAT Kats arrive, their baby boomer missiles fail to affect the fear ship. Instead, Cat's Eye's reporter, Ann Gora's extreme journalism, lands the SWAT Kats in trouble as Dark Cat shoots at their helicopter. SWAT Cat saves it, but Dark Cat shoots at Turbo Cat, preventing it from firing the scrambler missiles. The SWAT Cat retreats with their jet so that they are not blown up. This leaves Commander Ferrell desperate as he secretly hides in the cargo block of Dark Cat's ship. Ferrell's second in command, Lieutenant Steele, is kept in charge, but the over-ambitious Steele barely moves to help the commander, who gets found out by Dark Cat. Meanwhile, SWAT Kats repair Turbo Cat as they get a sudden deja vu from the entire event. A flashback shows the foundation history of the SWAT Kats. Chance and Jake were enforcer pilots who were once in close pursuit of Dark Cat. However, Ferrell orders them to back off, and when the duo ignores them, Ferrell collides his jet with theirs, causing Dark Cat to escape, but the duo's jets hit the enforcer headquarters. Although Chance and Jake are ejected in time, they get berated and suspended by Ferrell, who even punishes them to work in the salvage yard so that they can pay for the destroyed building. However, the indomitable fighter pilots built the Turbocat and took the alias to do what they do best. Something worth noting, this series is actually Hanna-Barbera's attempt to counter Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987, but this series is considered darker and lacks any human-like creatures. In the present, T-Bone and Razor are ready to take down Dark Cat as they find his hidden lair and drill into it. Dark Cat has tied up Ferrell and shares his plan of activating the Doomsday device that will destroy Megacat City. As Ferrell secretly tries to undo the bindings, Dark Cat notices the SWAT Kats and tries to drown them with hot lava. The show never really shows why Dark Cat is, well, dark, and for us, he is the most underdeveloped adversary for the SWAT Kats. Dark Cat watches the SWAT Kats cyclotron falling into the lava with pleasure, but unbeknownst to him, the heroes have survived. They arrive at the spot to stop Dark Cat and get into a physical struggle. With Razor trying to save T-Bone, Dark Cat and the Creeplings flies off with the Doomsday device. Ferrell gets mad at Steele and, as punishment, takes him on a ride on the fighter jet. Meanwhile, Razor jumps on Fearship and on the missile while T-Bone pursues Dark Cat. Razor carefully defuses the missile by cutting one of the red wires while T-Bone blows up Fearship. However, this is not the end of Dark Cat, as we will soon see the fearsome antagonist pair up with other small-timers to bring down new challenges for the SWAT Kats. Also, don't miss the SWAT Kats fighting ghost cats and alien creatures.
Possible, ugly. You can't stop me now!
Destructive nature. The story begins with Mayor Manx showing off his new 300-story skyscraper to Siamese businessmen, or rather, business cats, Mr. Young and his associates. Angora and her cameraman are also in attendance as Manx tries to convince Mr. Young to buy office space. Our heroes, Chance, plays an arcade game, while Jake waters the plant to save the universe. However, somebody has nefarious plans for destructive natural domination. Dr. Viper sneaks into Manx's skyscraper as a gardener, and Callie spots him. As Callie follows Viper, Anna and Johnny goes outside, but they get surrounded by wild plants bursting out from the roads and covering the skyscraper. Callie calls the SWAT Kats for help, but her legs get caught by one of the mutant carnivorous plants of Dr. Viper. Commander Ferrell also arrives and is not surprised that Callie is trapped inside. He calls in the enforcers for rescue, but the plantimals spit acid on the choppers, forcing them to retreat. By now, Callie is held prisoner as Viper caresses his spore pod and shares his plans to turn Megacat into Mega Swamp City. The SWAT Kats arrive, but taking down the plantimals proves challenging. Razor breaks through one of the floors and battles it out with several mutated plants to reach Callie. On the other hand, Ferrell commands the Enforcer Peacekeepers to shoot at the vines and succeeds in opening the doors, but a large plantimal attacks them and the crew has to escape. All this while, Mayor Manx plays golf with the businessmen and calls Ferrell for updates, asking him not to destroy the building. Inside the building, Razor is finally able to meet Callie, and as they climb the air vent, Razor accidentally turns on the air conditioning. Two mutates attack them, but the cold air from the vent freezes the plantimals. Outside, Ferrell faces another crisis as he orders throwing gallons of weed killer on the large, monstrous plantimal called Behemoth. However, it only makes the mutated plant grow larger. This episode and others offered great scope for comedic output, but a mid-development genre shift for the series turned it into a rather action-packed venture. Also, as we go through more episodes, you will realize that the series had a propensity towards mutating creatures and even robots. Callie realizes that the only way to stop the mutates is to freeze them, and Razor calls T-Bone to obtain super rocket coolants from Marsa. This is Megacat City's alternative for NASA. As T-Bone arrives with the coolant, he picks up Razor and Callie from the rooftop just as Viper tries to kill them. However, Dr. Viper sends his flying plantimals after the heroes, and as they spit acid, they damage Razor's target system. Razor manually drops the rocket coolant on the building. It freezes the whole building with the mutated plants and Viper. After the SWAT Kats drops off Callie, they joke about giving up gardening. It is, however, not a sweet ending for Manx, as Mr. Young refuses to buy an office in the frozen and ruined building.
Party's over!
The Metallicats. Mobster couple Mac and Molly Mange show up at a warehouse to confront their old gang members who have taken over their business of smuggling catnip from a tuna factory. The couple is supposed to be dead after their escape from Alcatraz prison. They shoot the ambitious gang leader Cat Scratch and reveal that they have now transformed into powerful metallic robots called the Metallicats. The Metallicats blow up the warehouse, trapping some of the gang members, and leave to go after Mayor Manx. The SWAT Kats spots the fire and immediately puts it out with foam, but the enforcers arrive and they leave hurriedly. Commander Ferrell notices the SWAT Kats and blames them for the fire, but one of the rescued mobster tells him about Mac and Molly Mange. The news of the notorious robots makes the front page, and Jake tries to bring Chance's attention to the matter. However, Chance is busy watching a cartoon called Scaredy Cat and doesn't move until Jake reminds him that Callie could also be in trouble. The SWAT Kats heads towards the mayor's office and finds the Metallicats driving their hovercraft. The SWAT Kats try to stop the Metallicats, but get chased by the Metallicats missile instead. The renegade robot cats bicker as they enter the mayor's building. The enforcers try to stop them, but are easily defeated. Callie calls the SWAT Kats for help, just as Mac jumps in through the window. The cowardly Mayor Manx tries to escape through the elevator, but gets confronted by Molly as Manx pleads for his life, denying his role in refusing their parole. The Manges tell him the story of what happened to them. The flashback shows that the Manges escape boat got hit by a ship, and the duo got stranded on a beach unconscious. Two robots carried the unconscious cats to Professor Hackle. Hackle saved the criminals by transferring their souls to the robots, and even created masks of their skin to make them look like the real deal in the flesh. Professor Hackle shows the Manges his collection of weapons that he once created for the military, but now he wants to contribute to good. Did you know a revival series called SWAT Kats Revolution is underway? The Tremblay brothers and Toons Media Group are supposed to produce it. The SWAT Kats escape the tail by shutting off its engine and releasing a decoy missile that gets hit by the pursuing missile. It takes time before they can start the engine, and it is saved by a second as they head towards the mayor's office, where Callie confesses to being the one who denied the parole. Molly throws Callie out the window, but the SWAT Kats save her and go after the Metallicats. Razor and Mac fight in the hallway, and Callie sprays Mac with water. Razor dumps ashtray waste on Mac, which short-circuits his wires and destroys the robot. Molly also tries to kill Manx, but T-Bone appears and shoves the mayor aside. As Molly jumps on the Turbocat, T-Bone manages to shake her off, and Molly falls to the ground, breaking into pieces. Later, Manx falsely promises to celebrate SWAT Kats Day to show his gratitude, but we are sure it's probably one of his empty promises. The scraps of the Metallicats are sent to the salvage yard, but Professor Hackles collects them. Unbeknownst to the SWAT Kats, the Metallicats are revealed to be still alive as they constantly bicker while Hackles drives them away.
And my dragon's breath!
Bride of the Past Master. A worm-like sea monster attacks an oil container ship in the middle of the ocean, and the SWAT Kats are on duty. The heroes deploy almost every weapon to fight the creature, and one of its spikes pierces the Turbocat's wing. The SWAT Kats defeat the sea monster, but instead of going back to the city, the Turbocat gets pulled into a time vortex, similar to the one opened by the Past Master. The vortex is indeed opened by the Past Master, but in the past, where he has summoned a Cyclops monster to terrorize the Queen of Megalith City. The Turbocat arrives in the Dark Ages and crashes into the forest. The video game adaptation of the story says that Past Master was the one to send the sea monster, but no such clarification is given for this episode. T-Bone gets off the jet and notices an Excalibur-like sword stuck in stone. As he tries to pull it, Queen Callista and her soldiers attack them. Queen Callista and Callie Briggs look uncannily similar and have the same damsel in distress aura. The Swat Kats fights the soldiers and Queen Callista's magic while trying to prove they are not the Past Master's minions. As Razor pulls off the sword during the fight, the Queen finally believes them. She informs them about a prophecy of a legendary warrior who will wield the sword and save them from the Past Master. Almost immediately, the giant Cyclops attack them, and the Swat Kats somehow manages to evade it. The Swat Kats detaches a cyclotron from the Turbocat and escapes, while Past Master speaks through the Cyclops to threaten the Queen and asks her to marry him. Queen Callista refuses, and the Swat Kats return with a grappling line and trick the Cyclops into falling from a cliff. Queen Callista is pleased with the Swat Kats and is especially impressed by Sir Razor. She takes them back to the fortress and arranges for dinner. While it may seem a bit unfair, T-Bone gets into repairing the Turbocat while Razor enjoys a hearty meal with the Queen. That night, the Past Master strikes again as a pair of his dragons breaks into the castle. One of the dragons speaks in Past Master's voice as he proclaims that Callista must marry him by sunrise, or else he will attack her city. The dragon removes the Queen's magic amulet and kidnaps her. Razor tries to follow the dragon, but another throws him off the roof. T-Bone saves Razor, and they finish up the Turbocat to confront the villain. As we informed earlier, Hudson Soft released a game by the same name in 1995, which was developed by AIM. Although the game might not be at par with the show's popularity, it still has a nice premise for more innovative gameplay. Well, rescuing Callista is not fair game. As with Dawn, two Cyclops giants attack the city. Since they lack modern technology, the Swat Kats have improvised the Dark Age tools and even a peppery soup as weapons, which they use to defeat the giants. Queen Callista almost agrees to wear the wedding ring until she notices the triumphant Swat Kats approaching. Past Master rides a large dragon with Callista to fight the Swat Kats, while he gets flanked by two smaller dragons. However, his plans fail once the smaller dragons are accidentally burned by the larger ones. Razor rescues the Queen, while T-Bone impales the fire-breathing dragon with the sword missile. The dragon explodes with the Past Master, and the Queen rewards both legendary heroes with a kiss. She uses some magic dust and incantations to send them home, where Callie is desperately waiting for the Swat Kats to take down another sea monster. Night of the Dark Cat. A criminal named Hard Drive enters Megacat City's defense center to steal valuable data. The cat wears a special surge suit that gives him electrical powers like transforming into current as he travels through wires or accesses electronic items. As Hard Drive escapes with top priority enforcer files, Commander Feral joins the chase. However, SWAT Kats are the first to arrive as they cut through power lines and finally trap Hard Drive in a heavily insulated missile. Feral can hardly press any charges on the SWAT Kats, as they are the ones to catch the culprit. But Feral ignores the SWAT Kats' advice on securing the prisoner. As Feral locks up the missile and leaves, the creeplings dig through the floor and pull in the missile. Dark Cat releases Hard Drive from captivity and instructs him to follow his bidding. Dark Cat's vendetta against the SWAT Kats has remained a focal point of the series, and the fact that he is always using other villains to act out his revenge plans further upholds him as the crime lord. The next day, Hard Drive starts causing mayhem in the city, and Callie informs the SWAT Kats. The SWAT Kats have been so far helpful in towing an old lady's car, but they abandon her to check on Hard Drive. The SWAT Kats use the surge detector to arrive at a warehouse, where they get captured by the creeplings. Dark Cat puts the SWAT Kats on a conveyor belt so that a machine crushes them. He also sends Hard Drive to fly the Turbocat and ruin the SWAT Kats' reputation. Speaking of reputation, the show has an impressive fan following in India, as it is one of the first cartoons to broadcast with Cartoon Network's launch. Even Toons Media is an India-based group that picked up the crowd-funded reboot of SWAT Kats. Coming back to Megacat City, Hard Drive trashes it with the Turbocat and Ferrell rides the enforcer choppers to catch it. Ferrell gloats over the fact that he was right about the SWAT Kats, but Callie refuses to believe it. However, she is not left with much choice when Hard Drive uses a voice changer to sound like T-Bone as he demands all the money from Mega Cat City's treasury. Ferrell, Manx and Callie agree but place a homing device in the money bags, but Hard Drive finds it and throws it away. Meanwhile, in the factory, the SWAT Kats tricks the creeplings into setting them free. They escape the building as it blows up, but get confronted by Ferrell and the cavalry. Callie also blames them publicly, but secretly asks Razor to take her hostage. The SWAT Kats flee with Callie in one of the enforcer cars, clearing up all misunderstandings. The SWAT Kats then breaks into the underground lair of Dark Cat and gets into a brawl. The creeplings are eliminated while the SWAT Kats manage to corner Hard Drive as they destroy his stealth suit. Dark Cat also tries to get a hit on the heroes, but accidentally drops parts of the ceiling on himself. The SWAT Kats then hand-deliver the villains to the enforcers, and Callie reprimands Ferrell for not trusting the vigilantes. Chance and Jake then return to the old lady with some pizza and tow her to the destination.
New Age nightmare!
Chaos in Crystal. The SWAT Kats have their duties cut out as they test some new missiles in the desert. T-Bone expertly flies the jet, while Razor is the weapon master. Somewhere nearby in a high-security prison, Callie and Mayor Manx learn from its warden, Cyrus Meese, that inmates are made to mine for gems in nearby mountains, which are used to fund the prison. Meese has hired Dr. Lighter Greenbox to speed up the process, and he has designed a laser-powered diamond mining machine called GemCat 6000. However, disaster strikes soon as convict Rex Shard is sent to test the machine. Rex tries to nick some diamonds and open the machine, which causes an explosion, turning half of Rex's body into crystal. As Rex touches the guards, they turn into crystals, and Rex uses his newfound powers to attack the prison. Manx had already left the prison to attend a golf tournament when Rex breaks into the warden's office and turns Meese into a crystal. By now, Rex has turned into a complete crystal cat and tries to attack Callie and Dr. Greenbox. As Callie and Dr. Greenbox try to flee, Greenbox accidentally knocks over Meese, shattering his crystal statue. The SWAT Kats arrive and push Rex into Meese's gems vault, but once again, things don't go the expected way, as contact with the gems causes Rex to grow several feet taller. The attacks and lasers from the SWAT Kats and enforcers don't seem to affect the crystal giant. Rex throws a crystallized tank at Turbo Cat and damages it in the process. Despite the extremely short run, SWAT Kats quickly became the #1 syndicated animated show in 1994 due to its high ratings. The data were approved by Nielsen. A damaged Turbo Cat crashes in the desert while disturbing Manx during his tournament. Soon, the viewers and the reporters notice the giant crystal monster approaching the golf course. Rex turns everyone and everything into a crystal as he heads toward Mega Cat City. The SWAT Kats notices that repairing their jet will take time, but Callie calls them for help. At GemCat Labs, Callie and Dr. Greenboxes to rewire his machine to do the opposite. However, the lab and Dr. Greenbox get attacked by Shard, and Callie somehow manages to escape as T-Bone gives her a lift. The SWAT Kats and Callie notice that Rex aims to crystallize the Mega Cat Dam. As the SWAT Kats finish repairing their jet, they leave for the mission, while Callie hitches a ride with Anne in a chopper. Rex crystallizes the dam and even destroys the chopper's rotor blades by concentrating the light of the sun's rays. Razor uses the Banshee missile to damage the crystal body of Rex, and when it doesn't work, T-Bone launches the Mach 5 sonic boom, which finally does the trick. It returns Rex to normal size, allowing the SWAT Kats to use the rewired gem Cat 6000 to turn him normal. This brings everything, including Mayor Manx, back to normal. Rex is again taken into custody, but it could be assumed Meese has met the end of his fate. The Ghost Pilot. A crane operator discovers an old relic, an old biplane from the Mega War II, which used to be flown by the notorious villain Red Lynx. As operator Doolittle's interview telecasts on TV, Chance gets mesmerized by the biplane and forgets to spot Jake for his weightlifting. Doolittle recalls how the Red Lynx fought with his arch enemy Blue Manx, who just so happens to be Mayor Manx's grandfather. The biplane gets hauled into the museum, but the ghost of Red Lynx takes its possession. Red Lynx Lynx is voiced by the famous Mark Hamill, who is well known for playing strangely odd villainous characters. Red Lynx vouches to get his revenge on the Manx family and escape with his plane. As Callie finishes writing Mayor Manx's re-election speech, she notices Red Lynx approaching. Noticing that it's not Blue Manx, the Red Lynx retreats, and Callie calls the Swat Kats. Red Lynx targets Manx at the golf court, but the Swat Kats swoop in and rescue him. Although T-Bone is aware that Red Lynx is evil, it might be a real fan moment for him to come face to face with the legendary pilot. For the time being, Red Lynx escapes, and the SWAT Kats meet up with the mayor, Ferrell, and Callie in the mayor's office. SWAT Kats and Callie persuade Manx to unveil his new fighter jet for the enforcers, named after the mayor's grandfather, Blue Manx. Callie also visits Dr. Sinian as she theorizes that Red Lynx's vengeance may have manifested his ghostly resurrection. The next day, the mayor does as he is told, until the ghost appears to kill him. Manx accidentally throwing Ferrell into the ocean is a highlight of the moment. The SWAT Kats engage with Red Lynx and break his plane, making it fall into the water. Everyone assumes Red Lynx is gone for good, and Manx breaks a bottle of milk on the Blue Manx jet for the inauguration. Later, Ferrell asks enforcers to guard the jet, but the ghost returns and hijacks it. Meanwhile, Manx sells hot dogs to the citizens so that he gets re-elected, and Callie gets a call from Dr. Sinian, who has finally found a way to kill the ghost. Callie comments that she no longer needs the information, but seeing Red Lynx come back and attack makes her change her mind. Callie calls the SWAT Kats and informs them that Red Lynx is back, and also that only a descendant of Blue Manx can finish the ghost. The premises of the story may seem very dark and edgy, but let us tell you, the original idea was to involve humans, which could have been much darker than the version we are treated to. Callie hops into the mayor's limo and takes the wheel. She takes him to a tanker where he can shoot the jet, but the cowardly Manx is unable to shoot. Razor also takes a cyclotron and gives Manx a ride, as he encourages the mayor to take a shot. The mayor succeeds when Razor threatens him that he will not get re-elected this way. Red Lynx's jet again suffers wreckage as it drowns in the ocean with the ghost. With Red Lynx gone, Manx finally gains some confidence and forces Razor to re-elect him as mayor, much to Razor's dismay. Metal Urgency, Hard Drive, is back in the scene as he has stolen a specialised enforcer supertank with a thought-controlled arsenal tailor-made to suit Commander Ferrell. The SWAT Kats show up in time and help in catching Hard Drive, except they cause significant damage to the supertank, which has crashed into a warehouse. Elsewhere, Professor Hackle watches the news and prepares discs that can erase all the criminal tendencies in Molly and Mac Mange. The Professor has repaired the Metallicats and prepared work clothes for the Manges. Professor Hackle is aghast to see that the warehouse contains two large robots called Macrobots. The Macrobots Goliath and Prowler are Hackle's creations, and he gets upset that they are augmented for war. He gets further demoralised when he finds out that the Metallicats have left the facility after destroying the good discs and clothes. At this point, somebody should heckle Dr. Hackle and stop him from using inventions that can be used for evil. As usual, the Metallicat continue to bicker as they arrive at the salvage yard, where they sneakily notice Chance and Jake arguing with Burke and Murray over a load of scraps. However, while trying to steal the Metallicat Express, Mac and Molly come across the Turbocat hangar. As the SWAT Kats get an intruder alert, they stop arguing and return to the base. The duo finds a bazooka launcher and a super glove tricks as they get into combat with the Metallicats. It becomes difficult for Chance and Jake to fight with only a few tools. They fall through a hole and play dead to lure and crush the Metallicats with the Turbocat. However, they don't realise that Mac and Molly's heads are detachable and have survived the attacks. The heads sneak out and take Metallicat Express to reach the Pumadine warehouse where the Macrobots are kept. Remco produced a few SWAT Kat action figures in 1994, and even White Castle and Carl's Jr. offered SWAT Kat toys in the kids' meals. This is another proof of how popular the show became in the 90s. Meanwhile, Callie and Ferrell argue over whether the SWAT Kats should be arrested when they receive news about the Metallicats. Callie relays the news to the bewildered SWAT Kats, who now fears about their identities being revealed. The SWAT Kats leap into action and notice that the heads are gone, while Professor Hackle meets with Feral and gives him a neural neutralizer gun to end the mange couple. The real fight begins when the SWAT Kats confront Mac in Goliath and Molly in Prowler. Seeing this as a do-or-die situation, the SWAT Kats decide to go all out, and Jake, aka Razor, heroically jumps into the Prowler, forcing Molly to abandon the post and join Mac in Goliath. Razor takes Prowler on top of Megacat trade towers, which is again a reference to the Twin Towers. As the mange also makes Goliath climb up, Razor puts Prowler on the auto mode of attack and leaps out as it attacks Goliath. The Macrobots fall together and get destroyed, while Feral finds the battered Metallicat heads. The duo pleads for freedom in exchange for revealing the identity of the SWAT Kats, but surprisingly, Feral shows strong character as he ignores and neutralizes them with Hackle's gun. The Psy-Cat A. This bug story begins with Chance and Jake watching a horror movie, Hardshell, featuring bugs. However, their nightmare will soon become real as they watch one of Mesa's space probes returning. Dr. Harley Street takes the probe back to his base to examine it and asks Angora to come the next day to interview him. In the lab, Dr. Street examines alien slime on the probe and a Psy-Cat A emerges from it. As the cicada-like bug bites Dr. Street, he gets mutated and follows its bidding. The Psy-Cat A also bites a guard, and when Anne and Johnny arrive the next day, they are stopped by the guard, and Dr. Street refuses the interview. Anne and Johnny find several Psy-Cat A cocoons and bugs emerging from them. As they get chased by mutated guards, Johnny records the ordeal, and the SWAT Kats see it on TV. Commander Feral and his enforcer choppers are the first to arrive, and several flying Psy-Cat A's attack the choppers, turning the pilots against Feral. The SWAT Kats also arrive at Massa and fight off the bugs as they find Anne and Johnny hiding in a space shuttle, but a Psy-Cat A baby gains entry into it. Dr. Street and Queen Psy-Cat A watch them, and Dr. Street launches the space shuttle. The Queen has grown in size considerably and feels hungry, so Dr. Street offers to take her somewhere there is enough food. The SWAT Kats jump off the spaceship with Anne and Johnny as they parachute to safety. Anne's extreme journalism is not paid due respect by the writers of the show, as she is often as valuable as Callie. Meanwhile, Mayor Manx prepares for the reopening of Megacat Towers and asks Feral if everything is under control, to which Feral lies. Manx also asks Callie to check everything at Massa so that he can finally sell the office to Mr. Young. The SWAT Cat notices Dr. Street and the Queen Psy-Cat A heading towards the nuclear plant. While T-Bone saves Feral from the Psy-Cat A choppers, Callie encounters Razor on the cyclotron and the Cat's Eye News van as they chase after Dr. Street, whose van rams into the nuclear plant building. As Razor arrives to stop them, the Psy-Cat A cocoons Razor and T-Bone have to come to his rescue. The Psy-Cat A consumes the nuclear power rods and grows in size as it bursts through the building. It takes Dr. Street and heads towards the city as they look for a place for the cocoons. The SWAT Kats try to stop them, but the Psy-Cat A spews slime on Turbocat, forcing them to retreat. Callie arrives at Megacat Towers the next morning, and once again, she finds the penthouse ruined with Psy-Cat A cocoons. When Callie gets attacked by a now mutated Dr. Street, she hides and calls the SWAT Kats for help. They arrive and save her from being bitten, but the altercation results in Dr. Street falling to his death. Now, you might not be feeling bad for this death, but there has been a bit of controversy on whether Sweet Dr. Zyme was really killed off in the giant bacteria. Unfortunately, the answer is yes, and Christian Tremblay apologised for it once. While we don't know about other mutated individuals, the eggs and cocoons are killed as Feral's choppers set them on fire. The Psy-Cat A Queen attacks Feral's choppers, and the bug spray fails. T-Bone manages to tie up the Psy-Cat A Queen, but it grabs Razor as it starts to fall. Razor manages to escape, while a large chunk of the building falls over the Queen and kills it. This happens just as Mayor Manx and Mr. Young arrive at the building. As alien slime covers them, Mayor Manx loses hope of selling his office again. Later, as Chance and Jake watch Hardshell 2, it seems Jake has developed an aversion to bugs, while Chance is okay with them. Enter the Mad Cat. This extremely entertaining episode opens in a mental asylum in Mega Cat City. Ex-comedian and insane Lenny Ringtail feels frustrated as the guard outside watches his rival David Litterbin's comedy show. Litterbin and his show is a fun reference to David Letterman's Late Show. As lightning causes a power outage, Ringtail takes the opportunity to escape. He sneaks into an antique shop and notices a cat in the box that looks exactly like him. The shopkeeper, Katsma, refuses to sell the item as he informs Ringtail that the item is cursed. He tells the story of an ancient jester called Mad Cat who went crazy when he was replaced and swore revenge on the king, queen, and knight. Finding the story relatable, Ringtail hits Katsma and picks up the item, which lets Mad Cat's ghost possess Ringtail. Somewhere else, Chance and Jake help an old lady recharge her car and return home to watch Litterbin's show. They are surprised when Mad Cat Ringtail magically appears in the show, as enforcers have already been deployed to catch the missing lunatic. Feral calls in the enforcers to reach the broadcasting station, while the SWAT Kats also gear up to catch Mad Cat. Anne reports the news as Mad Cat captures Litterbin and takes him to the roof. As Mad Cat drops Litterbin, the SWAT Cat swoops in to save him. Mad Cat uses several tricks to destroy the enforcer choppers and fight the SWAT Kats. He even grows in size or shrinks upon his will. Mad Cat ultimately captures Litterbin in a jukebox, as he promises to catch the king and queen next. Anne and the SWAT Cat simultaneously realise that Mayor Manx is the next target, and soon enough, Mad Cat appears at the golf court to get Manx. Mad Cat turns into a giant ball as he tries to crush Manx, but Feral's enforcers appear to stop him. It is quite regrettable that several noteworthy villains and characters of the show didn't get action figures. In fact, the action figures were also redesigned, and Dark Cat is presented as a cyborg, which is something never shown in the series. Mad Cat crushes all the enforcer vehicles and plays around with the SWAT Kats as he finally captures and confines Max with Litterbin. Next, Mad Cat goes after Feral, who appears to him as the Knight. Mad Cat turns into a motorcycle to chase Feral's car, and Razor takes the cyclotron. However, Mad Cat shrinks and vanishes as he again appears in Razor's seat in the Turbo Cat. He deploys missiles at Razor, but T-Bone ejects Mad Cat's seat. Despite all the efforts Mad Cat accomplishes in capturing Feral, he now promises to go after the Queen. It's no surprise who the Queen is, as Mad Cat now targets Callie. Callie meets Lieutenant Steele, who happily takes Feral's seat but refuses to listen to Callie. With a greedy mayor, felines like Steele after his seat, and vigilantes indiscriminately wrecking the city, we sympathise with Feral and realise why he is always grumpy. The SWAT Kats burst into the office to protect Callie, and luckily, Katsma also enters the room and tells them about the Cat in the Box robbery. Katsma further informs them that Mad Cat can be defeated by destroying his jester's cap. Mad Cat appears as a gigantic octopus as he suddenly attacks and captures Callie, while the SWAT Kats go after him. They rip off part of the cap, causing Mad Cat agony, but Mad Cat's tentacles catch Turbo Cat, forcing the SWAT Kats to eject. Mad Cat turns into a building and swallows Razor, but T-Bone destroys the last ball on Mad Cat's hat, making Mad Cat return to his box, while Ringtail goes back to his normal state. As the prisoners are released, Feral ignores Steele, who tries to blame the SWAT Kats for the destruction. Manx promises to pay for the Enforcer building as well as the SWAT Kats jet. However, the show is not over, as Litterbin later invites Ringtail to his show, but T-Bone still prefers watching Scaredy Cat instead of the loony. Catastrophe. The final episode of Season 1 begins with Dr. Viper and his monstrous mushroom breaking into the Mega Cat biochemical labs. As he looks for Catalyst 100, Viper notices the creeplings trying to get away with the chemical. Dr. Viper and his mushroom get into a scuffle with the creeplings, and this is noticed by the SWAT Kats, who are out checking their new camera. The SWAT Cat shoots cement pellets at Viper and the creeplings, causing all chemicals from the shelves to fall, which blows up the building. This was a disastrous decision in hindsight. He refuses to believe it was unintentional and puts an APB on the SWAT Cats, whereas Dr. Viper gets kidnapped by Dark Cat, who offers him a deal to work together in taking down the SWAT Kats. Creeplings also steal Mac and Molly's heads from police custody, and Dr. Viper and Dark Cat reinstate them to the bodies. However, when the Mange refuses to join them, Dark Cat activates the Neuro Scrambler collars he put on them, forcing them to obey. The Metallicats soon rob a savings bank and escape, but when they spot Callie, they try to follow her. The SWAT Cat saves Callie, while Dark Cat watches with satisfaction as the SWAT Cats and and the Metallicats engage in a chase. This ends with Razor being captured by Dr. Viper's mushroom, but as the Metallicats and Dr. Viper get into an argument about killing Razor, the SWAT Cat escapes using the unattended Metallicat Express. T-Bone targets the vehicle, and Razor has to leap out. T-Bone further shoots missiles at the Metallicats and rescues Razor. Dark Cat tortures the battered Metallicats for failing, but he has another plan. While Glenn Leopold wrote this episode, it was originally supposed to be an episode called Blowout, written by Lance Falk. It would have also included giant tree monsters and the Fear Train, which made the story more ambitious. Nevertheless, it's an impressive plot when Mac dresses up as a chauffeur and kidnaps Callie and Manx. Dark Cat interrupts Ferrell's interview about blaming the SWAT Cats. Dark Cat challenges the SWAT Cats to meet at the abandoned tuna factory. However, as the Turbo Cat flies to the location, Dark Cat blows up the jet, seemingly killing the SWAT Cats. The Turbo Cat was a decoy, and the SWAT Cats survived as they travelled by submarine. They enter the warehouse and rush to save Callie and Manx, but they too get trapped in a one-sided force field. The villains soon have a fallout and start fighting each other. A sinister fisherman enters the premises and switches off the force field, and it is revealed to be Ferrell. It's exciting to watch as Ferrell and the SWAT Cats team up to take down the villains. Ultimately, the heroes round up the villains in the force field, but Dark Cat has one more advantage up his sleeve. Dark Cat blows up the factory as the good guys escape it and make it back to the city with SWAT Cat's submarine. The SWAT Cats also ask for the mayor to replace the Turbo Cat, and although Manx tries to negotiate with a parade, Callie wouldn't let Manx off easily. Season 2, Mutation City. The episode begins with Chance and Jake training in the salvage yard when it is revealed that Chance doesn't know how to swim. He gets touchy about the subject and refuses to learn it from Jake. Elsewhere in the city, the sewers overflow as gruesome ooze fills the streets. Dr. Viper swims through it and enters a shop where he drops chemicals on a frog, turning it into a grotesque monster. Mayor Manx notices the ooze flowing from his showerhead, and Callie encounters it as she drives through the streets. Callie calls the SWAT Cats to help, and before they arrive, she gets picked up by Commander Ferrell's niece, Lieutenant Felina Ferrell. The SWAT Cats are immediately attacked by the monstrous frog that gets on the Turbo Cat. Razor is able to get it off, but the frog crashes in front of the Enforcer headquarters. The SWAT Cats and Felina work together to put the frog to sleep as it is taken to the lab for examination. Dr. Conway informs that Dr. Viper is possibly the man behind the Mutation City, as traces of Catalyst X-63 can be seen in the frog's DNA. Dr. Viper stole a shipment of the chemical last week. Dr. Conway combines a few anti-mutagen chemicals, which help him return the frog to normal. However, Conway explains that a large quantity of chemicals would be required to save the city, and they can only be found at the Megacat biochemical labs. Conway is apparently based on a fan who had sent several fan letters to the Tremblays, so you can call it a nice little homage. Ferrell takes the job of retrieving the chemicals and asks SWAT Cats and his niece to stay put. While Felina sneaks in as Ferrell's pilot, the SWAT Cats and Callie convince the mayor to appoint them for the task. The enforcers, including the Ferrells, get plane wrecked and stranded on the river of dirty water. While the SWAT Cats arrive at the scene, they get attacked by the mutated creatures, while Dr. Viper drains the last of Catalyst X-63 on himself. The SWAT Cats save the Ferrells and take jet skis to skim through Mutation City, fighting off creatures. However, when T-Bone almost drowns, Razor dives in to save him, but T-Bone still gets bitten by a creature. They enter the biochemical lab, but T-Bone transforms into a mutated frog and attacks Razor. Razor pins T-Bone to the wall with a claw missile and hauls the chemical cylinders out of the flooded facility. Callie calls Razor about a new terror, which turns out to be a gigantic and monstrous Dr. Viper. Even though the show somehow promoted Dark Cat as the arch-nemesis, we feel Dr. Viper has been a constant and greater threat to Megacat City. Viper gets hold of the chemicals, and Razor abandons the Turbo Cat. He shoots missiles at the cylinders, which burst and release a gas that turns every mutated entity to normal. T-Bone dives into the sewer water and saves an unconscious Razor, proving that he can swim after all. Although it's a short season, it brings some great and unique storylines. We also get a sneak peek at how the SWAT Cats started their vigilante affair while fighting Dr. Viper. A bright and shiny future. Chance and Jake stop at their old neighborhood to get the latest copy of Cat Commandos and meet with their old buddy Pop. As they make their way home, Callie calls them to inform them that the past master has returned and has attacked the cats on the bridge. This time, past master has returned from the future, and as he breaks the bridge, Felina Feral tries to catch him. Past master makes Felina fall, but the SWAT Kats save her. Past master proclaims that he has altered the future and succeeds in sending the SWAT Kats to the future. Only in the future, the Metallicats run the city. However, as past master aims to return to mess the past, the Metallicats stop him. The SWAT Kats notice that the future is run over by robots, all of which aim to attack them. The cat kind is made to work as slaves, who rejoice upon seeing the SWAT Kats return in glory. While Molly uses the control matrix to send more Metallicat units, the Turbocat crashes into the woods near the city. They get surrounded by some vans, and Felina appears to be part of the resistance troop. Callie, Professor Hackle, Commander Feral, and Manx also come out of the vans and share how they thought the SWAT Kats were dead. Although death is not explicitly shown in the series, one of the main reasons for the show's cancellation is because of Ted Turner disapproving of violence in cartoons. There have been several opinions on the matter, but Ted Turner is not the one to actually cancel the show, as the decision was taken at a much lower level. Moving on, Professor Hackle tells the story of how his good robots were peacefully working in the city until the Past Master arrived and revived the Manges. The Past Master gave them the control matrix, which the Metallicats used. The SWAT Kats apparently died while trying to stop them. As the story finishes, the group gets attacked by robots who kidnap Callie and Manx. Professor Hackle blames himself and suggests that he should go to the Metallicat headquarters and reprogram the robot control matrix. Somebody should ban Professor Hackle from doing good by now. The Manges broadcast their message to the non-metallic creatures to give themselves up when Past Master notices that his watch is with Molly, and he gets furious. As the SWAT Kats combat several robots and head to rescue the captives, they come across Pops and save him. They also find the Past Master, and in a surprising turn of events, they make a deal with the Past Master to get him his watch back if he helps the SWAT Kats to return to their original time. The SWAT Kats dress like robots and take Past Master as a fake hostage to enter the Metallicats headquarters. The distraction also lets Professor Hackle enter and change the settings, while the SWAT Kats fight the Manges. Past Master gets his watch back, and Professor Hackle uses a large robot to destroy the control matrix. He also takes away the Manges' weapons. The Past Master opens the vortex and betrays the SWAT Kats as he tries to escape into the past. However, the SWAT Kat latches onto him to go back and instead throws him back to the future after they return to their original timeline. When strikes Mutilor. The story starts off with a space pirate called Mutilor targeting the SWAT Kat's planet for its water. Chance and Jake work in the garage as they disassemble the Turbocat to make modifications. Meanwhile, Mutilor brings the spaceship to the planet and starts drawing all its water. The Enforcers, including Feral and Felina, launch an attack on the spaceship, but Mutilor's squadron outnumbers the Enforcers and Felina's jet crash. Felina escapes the jet with a bazooka, and as more alien pods attack her, she takes one down with the bazooka. She gets saved from the others as the SWAT Kats enter the scene on their makeshift thunder truck. However, as Mutilor and his minion Tragnauticus them, they start attacking the vehicle. Mutilor succeeds in blowing up the thunder truck, but the SWAT Kats escape and return to the city to get the Turbocat. On the other hand, Felina enters one of the crashed alien pods and finds its alien pilot dead or unconscious. This episode was the last to air before Cartoon Network Studios was launched in 1994. It is also one of those high-octane action extravaganza episodes which kept us glued to the screen. In the city, the mayor and the citizens face the drought, and Callie calls the SWAT Kats. However, the SWAT Kats are unable to receive the call as they make last-minute fittings on the refurbished Turbocat. Commander Feral receives news about Felina's jet crashing, and assuming the worst, he swears vengeance on the alien. The alien spaceship belongs to a race called Aquians, and Mutilor has captured it to steal water and sell it to another alien called Sahavi from a desert planet. As soon as the SWAT Kats finish, they target the alien ship with Turbocat, and the Enforcers also join them. The SWAT Kats take down Mutilor's entire squadron, and he takes the mothership to a higher altitude so that the Kats cannot follow. The SWAT Kats engage the speed of heat to fly into space and land inside the mothership, while the Enforcer crew has to abandon the pursuit, and even Feral now relies on the SWAT Kats. The seemingly childish cartoon scores well in adding much depth and tone to a character like Feral, unlike Mayor Manx, who only has the marvellous accent to account for. Aboard the ship, the Swat Kats come across the Aquians, and their Captain Queese of the Grimalkin informs them that the ship converts water into gas for fuel, but they are a pacifist race, so they cannot fight the space pirates. Originally, Lance Falk wanted the Aquiana to be humans, but executive Buzz Potamkin changed it to cat aliens, much to Falk's dismay. It now rests up to the Swat Kats to fight Mutilor and his crew, and when the Swat Kats get caught, Felina makes a dramatic entry with the alien pod. In a moment of surprise or solidarity, even Captain Grimalkin takes a swing at Mutilor, but the alien pirate escapes with an alien pod as he aims to destroy the anti-gravity setting of the mothership. Leaving Captain Grimalkin and Felina to fend for the mothership, the Swat Kats pursue Mutilor and attack his alien pod. Razor clogs up the Mutilor's ship, and as he aims to attack, the ship blows up. Later, the thankful Aquians gave the Swat Kats a repaired and shining Turbocat and released the water bat. As the Swat Kats give Felina a ride, they make it back to their planet.
Hey, T-Bone?
Razor's Edge. A group of Dark Cat's thieves steals equipment for his superconductor, but the Swat Kats are on his tail. Razor deploys octopus missiles, but misses Dark Cat's aircraft and hits an abandoned warehouse. However, there are some casualties from the blast, which distracts Razor and Dark Cat from escaping. Just as Feral blames the Swat Cat for being irresponsible, Jake starts feeling guilty for accidentally hurting common cats. Next, the same thieves break into catalytic laboratories and steal items for Dark Cat's Black Widow aircraft. The Swat Kats follow, but a guilt-ridden Razor is unable to shoot, which allows Dark Cat to clog the Turbocat's engine, making it almost crash. Later, Razor leaves with his cyclotron to think, while T-Bone is left alone to carry on the fight. T-Bone suspects foul play and goes to investigate the warehouse. He encounters Felina in the most dramatic way, which could be fuel to Chance and Felina's shippers. We already know Callie likes Jake, so this could have been a plot if the makers continued the show. Felina shows T-Bone remnants of explosives, indicating that somebody deliberately tried to ruin the Swat Cat's reputation. Razor also visits the injured elderly couple at the hospital, who asks him to go away, but accidentally slips Dark Cat's name. Realizing that he has been set up, Razor fights back the elderly couple, who are later revealed to be Dark Cat's crooks wearing masks. Razor delivers the crooks to the police, while T-Bone takes the jet alone to stop the Black Widow spidercraft. T-Bone struggles to do everything alone, and the spidercraft restrains Turbocat until Razor arrives and cuts through the wires. He rejoins T-Bone in the jet, while Dark Cat takes the spidercraft to the power station. Since we have already shared Ted Turner's stance, let us tell you that another reason for the show's cancellation is due to delayed scheduling and merchandise release. This was done by executives who tried to clean up the show to be more kid-friendly, and instead increased production costs. Coming back to our plot, the spidercraft feeds on the power. It grows in size, starts terrorizing the citizens, and heads towards the park. Razor breaks one of the electricity supplying towers, but it doesn't matter. He then creates a ditch around the spidercraft and floods the ditch with water. However, the Black Widow is waterproof, and Razor shoots at its legs, making sure water enters the vehicle and short-circuits it. The Black Widow is perhaps one of the most innovative vehicles in cartoon history, and it grows in size and power. All of Dark Cat's crooks surrender in front of Feral and the Enforcers, but the Swat Kats and Felina head inside the spidercraft, only to find that Dark Cat is missing, and the craft is wired to blow up. The trio escapes before the blow-up, and since Dark Cat promised to return, the Swat Kats also decide to stand their ground in taking him down.
You treacherous tomcat!
Cry turmoil. As a passenger plane attempts to land at the Megacat International Airport, a yellow beam falls on it. The pilot and his controls go haywire until the Swat Kats help the plane to make a safe landing. Immediately, a hologram of a female cat in a commander's clothes called Turmoil speaks to the citizens of Megacat City. Turmoil claims authority over the airspace and demands a weekly payment of 2 million gold to allow any aircraft to use the airspace. Ignoring Turmoil's demands, Felina attacks with her chopper, but Turmoil's vertigo beam rends her motionless, and again, the SWAT Kats save her from crashing. The SWAT Kats take up the Turbo Cat to attack Turmoil's ship, the Sky Lion, and T-Bone uses his top-tier piloting skills to evade the vertigo beam. However, it's not long until the Turbo Cat gets caught in the vertigo beam, and T-Bone uses all his might to control his jet. Turmoil is impressed by T-Bone's flying skills and asks her bridge crew to bring him in. As another beam pulls the Turbo Cat towards the Sky Lion, T-Bone notices that Razor has fainted, and he lets Razor's seat eject so that T-Bone is the only one who is captured. After several episodes glorifying Razor, we finally have T-Bone as the hero in this Top Gun-inspired episode. Turmoil offers T-Bone a commander's position, second to her, and tries to impress him with her air force and an all-female crew. As T-Bone deviously agrees, Turmoil shows him all the controls and sections, including the vertigo beam console. T-Bone even dresses up in similar clothes as he plans to secretly sabotage the Sky Lion. Writer Lance Falk initially intended Ferrell to be in T-Bone's place and join Turmoil until he realized the Swat Kats would win and betrayed Turmoil. We are glad the script changed, as this is so much more entertaining. Meanwhile, Razor wakes up and makes it back to the Sky Lion to rescue his buddy. However, after a few confrontations, he gets caught. T-Bone and Turmoil's romantic moment gets interrupted when they are informed about Razor. However, T-Bone pretends to betray and throw Razor out of the mothership. The ruse works, and Razor returns to the ship with a grappling hook. The SWAT Kats manage to retrieve the Turbo Cat and leave the ship. It appears T-Bone has not only defused the vertigo beam system, but also planted explosives throughout the ship. While the rest of her crew dives with parachutes, Turmoil abandons the ship with her own jet, but she gets captured by the SWAT Kats. Later, T-Bone sends a love letter to Turmoil in prison, but she tears it as she promises to get out and meet him. Glenn Leopold wrote an episode called Turmoil 2: The Revenge that would have followed up on Turmoil's escape and revenge plans, but it did not air due to the show getting cancelled. SWAT Kats Unplugged. This is the shortest episode in the series, and it begins with the SWAT Kats chasing a rogue hyena called Chop Shop. The SWAT Kats succeed in capturing Chop Shop and his helicopter. T-Bone lends much credit to Razor's high-tech gadgets, which make their job easier. In a lab, Dr. Ohm watches the news as he works on his Pumadyne anti-weapons scrambler, which will be used by enforcers. Dr. Ohm is an enforcer sympathizer and reminds us of Professor Hackle. Hard Drive appears out of the telephone and knocks out Dr. Ohm. Hard Drive steals the weapon scrambler and goes on to rob Megacat City's high-speed train, carrying gold shipments from Mint to Vault. The train's laser weapons don't work due to the scrambler device, and Dr. Ohm informs Ferrell that he is still working on a counteract device. The SWAT Kats prevents Hard Drive from getting away with the gold, but the scrambler jams Razor's weapon system. Razor asks T-Bone to hit the water tower, which floods Hard Drive's engines, but Hard Drive exclaims it's waterproof. However, Razor gets a brilliant idea thanks to a little mishap at the hangar. He asks T-Bone to get closer to the hard drive, and Razor manually drops a can of black paint on the hard drive's windshield. As the SWAT Kats help in catching Hard Drive, Angora reports their success, but Ferrell is still furious about the SWAT Kats wrecking some of the city properties. Alas, Chance shows his anger by dropping the remaining paint on the TV, covering Ferrell's face. The Deadly Pyramid. The SWAT Kats are invited by Dr. Hackle to his home, and as he ushers them inside, a storm brews outside. Somewhere in a desert, Dr. Sinian, accompanied by her associates Henson and Randall, is examining the Cachu Picchu excavation when they notice a time vortex open up. As expected, the past master emerges, but this time with a crown. He uses the power of the crown to lift a pyramid from underground. Back at his home, Professor Hackle shows the SWAT Kats his late invention, the Cybertron robot. He has created the robot to help cats, and as a thank you gift for the SWAT Kats. T-Bone shares our level of apprehension and doesn't want anything to do with it, but Razor gets enticed. As the ground shakes, T-Bone hurriedly leaves with Razor, but Professor Hackle sends Cybertron to accompany them. In the pyramid, Past Master wakes up several giant mummies with his bejeweled headdress, while Randall sneaks up and takes pictures. The Past Master notices him and sends the mummies after Randall. The mummies ensure Dr. Sinian and her colleagues are stopped from radioing or escaping. As the Turbocat reaches the epicenter, its engines get clogged, but Cybertron somehow gains entry, and helps it restart. The SWAT Kats rescue Dr. Sinian and Henson, while the mummies take down a bus and embark on Megacat City, terrorizing its cats. The enforcers and the SWAT Kats are unable to put a scratch on the mummies, while Callie inquires the SWAT Kats about their whereabouts. With mummies and time travel, the show has covered several tropes, but since the show ended abruptly, there are 3 unfinished episodes with impressive plot lines that have the storyboard complete and voices recorded. The crew worked on The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, 1996, and after completing season 2, they wanted to finish the 3 episodes, but the executives denied it. This is perhaps the real atrocity, as the episodes could have taken the arc somewhere better. We will get back to this later. For now, the past master notices Callie, who reminds him of Queen Callista. Past master orders the mummies to bring Callie to him. Callie escapes the mummies and meets with the SWAT Kats as they drop off Dr. Sinian. The SWAT Kats asks Cybertron to defend Callie, Sinian and Henson as they go off to save the mayor. Cybertron heroically sacrifices its life to save the cats, but gets brutally battered as Callie still gets kidnapped. Meanwhile, the SWAT Kats manage to break one of the mummy's glass eye shields, which lets the sunlight reach his eye, and the mummy disintegrates. The SWAT Kats relay the information over the radio, and Feral follows it to destroy a mummy and save the mayor. The SWAT Kats destroys several robots and heads towards rescuing Callie. They enter the pyramid, but a range of obstacles make it a challenging race. Past Master shows the footage to Callie and asks her to marry him. When the SWAT Kats fall into an underground basement, they have to shine light upon the mummies to disintegrate them. As they come up, the SWAT Kats get captured by the real Cachu Picchu monster. Callie agrees to marry Past Master if he lets the SWAT Kats go, but he refuses. Razor manages to knock off Past Master's headdress, which gets crushed by a pyramid beam. This monster gets destroyed along with the pyramid. Later, a grateful T-Bone and Razor take Cybertron back to Professor Hackle, who informs them it would take years to get Cybertron back. To their horror, Professor Hackle tries to gift them with an even larger robot, but the boys run away. Caverns of Horror. Something sinister is going on in the Agrosite mines as miner cats are going missing, with the president of Megacat Metallurgical Company, Tiger Conklin, not doing anything. As the miners revolt, the enforcers arrive to mitigate the situation. Felina takes a few miners to investigate the mines, while Angora disguises in miners' clothes as she anticipates a scoop. She follows the group and records everything while Johnny watches from their news van. At the hangar, Jake and Chance watch the broadcast and practice breaking bricks while joking about their moms feeding them agrosite, making them strong. They notice it when a claw grabs Anne. Felina hears her screams and goes back with the team to investigate, but suddenly everything starts to cave in and the group gets on the elevator to escape. As the elevator breaks, the SWAT Kats save them, and Johnny rushes to tell them about Angora. Conklin informs that it will take weeks for a team to dig in, so the SWAT Kats decided to use their turbo mole. Felina joins the SWAT Kats as they dig in and have a rough landing. They find miners' clothes, and soon Felina gets abducted by the same claws, and this time the SWAT Kats follow, only to find a gigantic scorpion. The writers of this season wanted to replace Callie with Felina as heroine, and in an unreleased episode called Succubus, T-Bone would have given Felina a beeper. Succubus would also have involved Feral dating a wealthy and beautiful succubus. Here, the SWAT Kats save Felina and drive away with her as more gigantic scorpions follow them. Anne wakes up amidst skeletons, but is unable to escape. The SWAT Kats get a signal on Anne and track her when they find rock scorpions feeding on the toxic waste of Conklin's company and realise that's how the scorpions mutated into giants. The group almost falls into lava but makes it past more mutated scorpions and finds Anne. They save her, and T-Bone throwing Anne over a monster before saving her is one of the riskiest and boldest moves ever seen. The four finally make it out of the mines with the turbo mole. Just as Feral leads an excavation team, Anne exposes Conklin's illegal dumping of waste when the largest monster emerges and launches itself on the Turbo Cat. The SWAT Kats use the speed of heat to combust the monster as a grateful Anne reports about the bravery of Felina and the SWAT Kats. Volcanus erupts. Mayor Manx is finally about to realise his dream as he sells the land of Anacata Island to Mr. Young and his associates to make a high-tech industrial park. However, a local warns the mayor not to indiscriminately dig around, as the talisman stone of the island protects the islanders from Volcanus, the fire demon. Mr. Young believes in superstition and asks the mayor not to disturb the stone, but the mayor's last-moment instructions are not heard by the bulldozer operator who breaks the stone. The islander panics, and soon enough, the volcano wakes up with the fire demon escaping from it. The people panic, and everyone escapes on hydrofoils. Volcanus follows them into the ocean, but he drowns. Much to the horror, Volcanus re-emerges from the other side just after Manx, the islander, Mr. Young, and his associates get down from the boat. As Volcanus destroys everything on its part, the Swat Kats watch it from their TV and assume it's a movie. Whether you have noticed it or not, Season 2 of Swat Kats was inspired by Eastern animation at a time before anime became popular in the Western world. The Swat Kats quickly realizes that what they are watching is not a movie and goes to save the city. Their new heat shields, which they tested in the morning, come in handy. However, as the Enforcer and Swat Kats try to stop Volcanus, nothing seems to put a dent in the fire demon. The Swat Kat saves Feral as Volcanus burns his chopper. The fire demon now approaches the nuclear plant, and Feral employs all his artillery to prevent Volcanus from approaching the plant. Ultimately, Razor comes up with a plan to find and insert an electronic detonator on Volcanus's weak spot. He wears a fire-resistant suit and undertakes the task, but Volcanus takes hold of Razor. As the detonator explodes, the hand holding Razor flies off and falls into the ocean. Razor survives, and T-Bone picks him up. Later, Mr. Young and associates inaugurate Anakata Island as a real park for people's entertainment, where parts of the Volcanus are sold as souvenirs. Turns out, Mayor Manx has finally got what he wants, as he gets a percentage of the sales on souvenirs. The origin of Dr. Viper. This episode takes us back to the past when the Swat Kats were just starting out. It begins with Razor and T-Bone running through some training obstacles. At the same time, Dr. Enzyme shows off the regenerative effect of Viper Mutagen 368 to his colleague, Dr. Elrod Purvis. Dr. Zyme calls the mayor to inform him about the success of their experiments and invites both Manx and Callie to visit the next day. Despite Dr. Zyme's good intentions, Dr. Purvis hopes to sell the formula to earn millions. That night, Dr. Zyme catches Dr. Purvis stealing the Viper Mutagen and asks him to stop, but Purvis refuses, and Zyme throws his briefcase at Purvis. This causes the formula to spill and fall over Purvis, which has an odd reaction on Purvis, seemingly killing him. Commander Feral takes notes of the events and asks Dr. Zyme not to blame himself. However, Zyme gets concerned when he finds that the Viper Mutagen is having unexpected mutations in living beings. Right on cue, Doctor. Purvis resurrects, but turns into something else. Purvis returns to the lab as Dr. Viper and lets mosquitoes and bees bite him so that the same mutagen enters their body. He then pours Catalyst 96 over the bugs to make them grow. The final unfinished episode, Doctors of Doom, would have brought back Dr. Viper and Dr. Street working together to make giant creatures. This confirms that Dr. Street survived the fall in the Psy-Cat A episode. The story of Purvis's missing body concerns Feral, while Manx and Callie arrive at Zyme's lab early in the morning. Dr. Viper quickly captures them while the bugs paralyze them. Callie still manages to alert the Swat Kats before she, Zyme and Manx are imprisoned in honeycomb walls. Like clockwork, the Enforcers and Swat Kats arrive at the scene together. The Swat Kats quickly encounters the giant bugs and evades their paralyzing spray. Their new tools and equipment help them get rid of the gigantic bugs, and ultimately, they reach the lab, where a scuffle causes Dr. Viper to fall off, who promises to come back.
You'll blow up the detonator!
The dark side of the Swat Kats. The Swat Kats fly the Turbocat on a night filled with rain and thunder to test their new radar system. They find Commander Feral flying an Enforcer chopper and tease him with friendly banter. However, sudden lightning causes turbulence, and the weather clears up by the time T-Bone gets a handle on the controls. The Turbocat almost crashes into Feral's chopper, but what's truly astonishing is that both Feral and Felina start shooting lasers at the Turbocat. The Swat Kats evade the attack and reach their hangar, only to find it trashed. They are welcomed by the Creeplings and their master, the Dark Cat, who asks if the SWAT Kats have stolen the detonator. But that's not all. The SWAT Kats also find a wanted poster with their headshots in the hangar. They are shocked to learn that they are an acquaintance of Dark Cat and have made a plan to blow up the Enforcer headquarters. Razor and T-Bone play along with Dark Cat and leave with Turbo Cat. And on the way, Razor explains that they might have crossed to an alternate mirror dimension where they are bad. They decide to steal the mega detonator from Pumadyne before it falls into the hands of the rogue SWAT Kats. At the same moment, the evil SWAT Kats return to their base with loot and pick up their missiles and bazookas with wicked warheads. Dark Cat quickly realizes that the SWAT Kats he encountered earlier are a pair of imposters, and the evil SWAT Kats of the alternate world goes ahead to steal the detonator. A striking contrast between the good and the evil is shown here. The good SWAT Kats sneaks past the guards without drawing attention or hurting others. The evil SWAT Kats arrive immediately and knock out the guard before entering the storage rooms. Another interesting exchange takes place between the evil and good SWAT Kats as they come across each other. Thanks to their diabolical glove tricks, the evil ones blast the good ones and escape with the mega detonator. The good SWAT Kats get imprisoned by the enforcers, who refuse to believe Razor and T-Bone's words. However, Feral still sends a chopper to Pumadyne. In the meantime, Deputy Mayor Callie Briggs storms into the prison and berates the SWAT Kats for failing in their mission. She helps the SWAT Kats escape and orders them to get the detonator. This episode establishes Callie as a third member of the Radical Squadron, as the evil SWAT Kats probably exist because an evil Callie is in cahoots with Dark Cat. As the good ones escape, they get chased by Feral, and soon Felina calls him up to inform him that she is following the evil SWAT Kats. Realizing that the good ones are telling the truth, the commander stops attacking the SWAT Kats. The good guys also save Felina from a crash, as the bad guys throw black tar on her screens. It's now time for a one-to-one face-off between the good and bad SWAT Kats as they engage in an aerial dogfight. The evil SWAT Kats ignore Dark Cat's suggestions, and instead of blowing up the headquarters, they continue to fight. During the fight, the Turbo Cat, with the good guys, falls into the water, but the heat shields save them. As they re-emerge out of the water, the good guys speed up and clog up the bomb bay doors of the evil Turbo Cat, making it blow up with the evil ones. On the other hand, evil Callie gets arrested by Felina, while the good SWAT Kats again encounter lightning turbulence and make it back to their original universe.
Razor, max afterburners now!
Unlikely alloys. Just like how the series started, the last official episode begins with the SWAT Kats testing their G-force withstanding capacity with a gyroscope. This led to a little accident, and T-Bone had to bring out the fire extinguisher, and one of the casualties was the radar jammer. Before they can salvage anything else, the SWAT Kats hear the news about Metallicats attacking the Megacat City Mint. The SWAT Kats arrive to take down the Metallicats, and so do the enforcers. Mac gets one of his robot hands cut off, and Molly takes quite a hit during the fight. As a concerned husband, Mac abandons the money and escapes with an injured Molly, while the SWAT Kats help the Ferals from getting crushed by concrete. But hey, don't expect any gratitude from Feral, as he blames the SWAT Kats for the destruction, which will be costly to repair. On the other hand, Mac fusses over a dying Molly and plugs her in to recharge. Mac gets excited when he sees a TV interview with Dr. Lita Greenbox introducing a micro-brain repair orb that works like AI, as it can assess and repair faults within machines. The SWAT Kats are amazed at the product and call Dr. Greenbox to use it to repair their radio jammer. Soon, Mac breaks into Greenbox's facility and uses the device to repair his damaged hand. He also uses the device to revive Molly, but something unexpected occurs at this moment, as the orb stops the Manges from escaping, and instead, it dismantles and absorbs the Metallicat Express to turn into a giant robot. The birth of the alloy and the Metallicats calling the robot a kid serve as a subtle hint to child-parent bond. Now, this is one of those rare and unique plots we have been talking about. It's a disaster that the show was shut down before we could see more such plots. The robot calls himself Zed and absorbs every metal and object in Greenbox's lab. It also identifies the SWAT Kats as enemies and attempts to kill them while planning to assimilate Turbo Cat. The Enforcer vehicles also experience the same fate as the Metallicat Express, but the power-hungry Zed has now identified a new purpose. It refuses to accompany the Metallicats in robbing the Mint and even consumes Mac, leaving Molly horrified. The Swat Kats attempt to fight the robotic monster, but nothing they deploy works, and the Turbo Cat gets damaged. Seeing no way out, the Swat Kats return to Dr. Greenbox, who explains that his repair globe got contaminated while repairing the Metallicats, and now sits at the center of Zed. The only way the robot monster could be stopped is by ripping off the globe from inside. Since Molly insists on joining them to rescue her husband, Greenbox puts force field generators on himself, the Swat Kats, and Molly. As we reach the end of the series, let us tell you that the show used words like crud and tail as curse words, and even the word radical. We are so glad that none of them got picked up. The Swat Kats take the hovercraft to go after Zed, who now plans to attack Pumadyne to fulfill world domination aspirations. However, once inside, Zed's mechanical antibodies attack the group, and they escape with great difficulty. Molly is the first to betray the others as she finds her husband's head, but the Swat Kats rip off her force field belt and she gets absorbed. Greenbox also refuses to deactivate and runs away with the repair globe. Greenbox gets merged with Zed. He restrains the Swat Kats and attaches Pumadyne's Mega Beam laser, but all hope is not lost as the Swat Kats free themselves and T-Bone destroys the orb. They get out of Zed as it starts falling apart. Molly finds Mac in the rubble, while Feral almost appreciates the SWAT Kats. Cat's Eye News, a special report. Although this is the official last episode, nothing happens in it. It's a clip episode retelling the adventures of Chance and Jake, as known as T-Bone and Razor or the SWAT Kats. The episode features the best moments from the entire series, highlighting the most important characters as well as the SWAT Kat vehicles and tools utilised throughout the show. Do you have any favourite episodes from the SWAT Kats? What are your thoughts on a revival? And, most importantly, do you think it was radical after all? Marvellous verdict. SWAT Kats is a rather underrated gem that happened to us for a short while and left a long-lasting impact. The reason for using such big words is that the show is a pioneering act in an action-based animated series that happened in a cat's world. The show offered the right dose of adrenaline, quirky cat puns, enigmatic villains, and, most importantly, cool missiles, which makes you say, who would have thought that? If your walk through the nostalgic lane was satisfactory, do like our video and subscribe to our channel for more of this cartoon awesomeness.